Today, we are going to be talking about a super awesome way to stand out when a new guest arrives to your salon. How can you really just create that wow experience right away to really start to cultivate and develop a great relationship with a new guest inside of your salon?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about welcome tours that wow. And I had the opportunity to visit a boutique the other day. When I walked in, it's like, oh, how can we help you? And that was it. And then they walked away. And I said, no, I'm fine. I'm good. So when we take that back into the salon world, like our first impression is when they walk through that door. So how can we literally roll out the red carpet for them? So they're like, wow, I don't know what it is about that salon. I feel different when I leave, and I feel different in a much more beautiful way.
Yes. And so if you would love to create that experience for all of your clients that walk into your space, today's podcast is going to be an amazing roadmap. We're going to give you actionable tools to utilize right away inside of your company to really start creating that experience to where people are just raving fans of your company. And so we have four simple steps to follow, and don't worry if you have a front desk or if that is one of your goals to eventually add in a front desk. We're going to cover all areas of the market and just give you some actionable items that you can implement today.
Awesome. So let's talk about step one, super easy step. Step one is the signature greeting. And we use the word signature because that means we want it to be warm, welcoming, but consistent throughout. And so that would be like a client walking through your doors and you're like, hey, do you have an appointment? Or, another client walked through your doors and like, hey, what's your first name? So like that is inconsistent. So when we talk about a luxury experience or we talk about a brand, like to make sure that you're using that uniform language that is consistent throughout, like the guests feel that difference and it feels more natural for them. They're like, wow, I'm excited to be here. So just thinking about like what is your welcome message when they walk in? We like to use the words welcome back. We went to a church outing. I think we were there. I think you were there, Linz. And we went to a church
Mhm.
outing for a retreat, not to make this religious or anything, but and we got out of the car. It was our first time there, and they were like, "Welcome back." And at that moment, I was like, "Man, that feels different. Like you feel like you belong to a place." And so that's one example or an idea that you can use as someone walks through that door. Welcome back, and then depending on if they're a new client or returning client, you always want to use their first name because there's so much power in someone knowing your name.
Absolutely. And I think that we have all experienced the opposite feeling of that welcome back feeling. And you might even be thinking, welcome back, they haven't even been here before. But really, what welcome back signifies is, like Jen mentioned, you belong here. It doesn't matter if this is your first time or if you've been here 100 times, like, welcome back. We are excited to have you here. But when you've had that exact opposite experience, I don't know if, I've walked into a nail salon before where literally they just, say, pick your color and point to the wall of a million nail polishes. And they didn't even know what I was there for. I could have been there to purchase a gift certificate or whatever else it was that they have to offer, but instead they just automatically assumed that I had an appointment. And so I think that that's something to just really dive into if you have that team at the welcome desk that will be will be performing these tours of what is it that we want to create, what's the feeling that we want to create for our customers when they walk in the door, because we want to all have that consistent greeting like Jen mentioned, but we also want to have consistent energy. We want to smile, maintain eye contact, use the name like Jen mentioned whenever possible. And so really getting crystal clear on what your signature greeting is, I think, is huge. And to me, it's one of the most cringeworthy things that and occasionally I'll still hear it, and it's just a great coaching moment of when somebody walks in and somebody says, "Do you have an appointment?" or anything other than "Welcome back," welcome in. We're excited to see you, and just starting to create that connection right away. I think we need to, if we want people to purchase retail and gift certificates and come in when they don't have an appointment and create a space for even walk ins if there's the opportunity, making sure that we make everyone feel welcome in that signature greeting, I think is going to be one of the key pieces here.
Mhm. Somebody, a salon owner once asked me, "Well, Jen, like this is great, but usually the people that are part of my hospitality team or front desk, they're all so young. How do I get them to have that consistent greeting?" And I said, "Well, let's think about Chick-fil-A because I know most of you know what Chick-fil-A is, and they have that special greeting, my pleasure." And so, like, it is possible. So I would just make sure that you're checking in with your beliefs because if you do have that belief, oh, they're just young, they don't know what's going on, like they can be open to coaching. And then most of the time they are open to coaching. So just never let that belief predict the outcome that you're getting up front. And I love that you mentioned that name too, Lindsay, because it reminds me, I was reading a book called The Gold Standard. It's about the Ritz Carlton. And in that book, they take actually homeless people off the street, bring them into the Ritz to start training them to give them an opportunity for a job. And when somebody was interviewing these people that were giving this opportunity, they like, what was the greatest thing about this opportunity? And they said the greatest thing about this opportunity was that they remembered my name. And so, they're homeless, they get shelter now, they're making money, but the greatest thing to them was that somebody remembered their name. And so like that
Mm.
just shows you the importance of knowing someone's name. And I like to say, we like to say you can safe social stalk. And like if you have a new guest, like check them out really quick. And that way you can put a face to a name. Cause just imagine when you walk in somewhere new and they already know your name, like that's creating that trust factor, that's building that relationship. And that really can help set the tone for the reservation.
Yes, I love that, Jen. That's such a powerful story. And, such a simple thing to do. It doesn't cost you any additional money. And, really the return on that is huge because you already start to feel connected to that individual and they start to feel connected to you, which leads us into that second step of wowing at the welcome tour, of creating connection. And so step two is going to be creating connection. And so this is really where you're going to want to dive into creating that personal connection with the client that you're about to serve. So you want to make the clients feel comfortable and understood. And so when you're working on, creating the best welcome tour, think about like, hey, we're not just here to, tell them bolts and facts and stuff about us. And this is not about us. This is about the person that we're about to serve. This is about our client. And so, actively listen to them, ask them open ended questions, like, what are you most looking forward to about your experience with us today? Or, how can I help make your time more comfortable during your visit with us? Um, Asking them, some genuine questions that you're interested in. If they have something that they're wearing that stands out to you, offering them a compliment and creating connection through that way is great. Like if they've got a cute brown bag, you're like, oh, I love wearing brown bags. Like, whatever it might be that you see, if you can look for a way to kind of create that connection where like I see you and me and they can then see you and them, that really can help create that successful connection right away. And people who feel connected to another person just automatically want to listen more. They're more receptive. It really starts to set the stage before they even meet their service provider for, an exceptional experience with you. They're already like, wow, this is way different than anywhere else I've ever been before.
Yeah. It reminds me when we started doing tours a long, long time ago, they were like, people weren't really enrolled in the tour. I don't think they like the tours. And I said, okay, let's review of like what's happening. And this is how it would go. Welcome back. Do you have an appointment? What's your name? Get you all checked in. Okay, I'm going to give you a salon tour. Well, what happens in that moment, like Lindsay was saying, there's no connection. So I love that you said, just using those open-ended questions or finding some points of similarities or giving them a compliment helps to build that connection because then once you build that connection you can continue the building blocks of like, by the way, hey, I'm just going to show you around today so you can get acclimated to where everything is. We're so excited to have you. So just remember that too. And so when we move on to the third step of wowing at the welcome desk, it's going to wowing for a salon tour and the welcome desk. It's going to be what's in it for them. Like this is what I notice a lot of times with salon tours is like, this is we carry Redken, we carry Pureology, we carry Kevin Murphy, whatever it may be. This is our styling area. This is our color room. This is our shampoo room. Well, that's all great, but like really when we're talking about serving, like we want to let them know that we're here to find solutions to their greatest hair and skin challenges. And so, using words that bring light and life to someone and show them that, hey, you probably have a solution for a challenge that you're facing. And so, like one idea would be we say, like, this is our salon stage. Our goal is to make you leave feeling beautiful inside and out. We are a team based salon. So, for us to achieve that goal, you may get the opportunity to work with more than one service provider. And so that already sets the stage for, hey, you know what? This is awkward. I've never seen two people working together on one client. It already sets the stage on that because they understand what's in it for them is for them to leave feeling beautiful inside and out.
And if you're thinking, whoa, 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 Jen, you have more than one person working on a client in your salon space. Yes, if you want to hear more about how you create an epic master's program, check out, we will have a future episode soon about that. Um, but letting people know like, hey, this is a team-based salon, whether people are already working with multiple service providers, which we would say like, hey, it doesn't matter how big your team is. When we have a mission to serve as a salon team, we're all going to serve it. So it doesn't matter if a guest is sitting in one person's chair, they are a guest of the salon. And so, we are going to treat that client with the utmost respect and do whatever it takes to serve out on the mission to help them feel beautiful inside and out. And so when you pass on that point of difference, like Jen mentioned, make sure that you're focusing in on what's in it for them. So even if you're going to talk about, hair extensions, for example, you might point out that you have a wall of, hair solutions to help people add volume or length to their hair. So just, making sure that you kind of set it up in a way that they're like, okay, so like I understand what's in it for me. Like I saw that hair over there and I had no idea what it was. So now that you've told me what it is, and you could even ask them, like, have you ever wanted more length or thickness to your hair? And if they say yes or no, if they already have tons and tons of hair, they might say no, not at all. And you could say, well, no worries. We also offer additional solutions like Brazilian blowouts or keratin complex treatments or whatever it might be. So we're just here to serve all of your needs. And so if, later we'll get the opportunity to talk with a service provider and dive into those even deeper. But here's just a few of the solutions that we have already. And that really starts to point out like, hey, that's what's in it for them. They know that you're a team-based environment. I think that's one of the key things to get across in that welcome tour, just so that you already start to, paint the picture like, hey, because not everybody's going to be the perfect fit for that first service provider that they see. And so like letting them know like, hey, we want you to see as many people as possible. We work together as a team. Multiple people might blow dry, they might color, they might, do any of these things. You don't have to get too detailed about what that looks like. What Jen mentioned was just perfect, but just pointing it out like, hey, we're here for you. And we want this to be about your experience. This isn't a stylist driven experience. This is truly a client driven experience. We want to do whatever it takes to make it an amazing visit for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. And this is really, really where you start at the front and kind of walk them through the salon too. And to make sure that, like Lindsay was saying, you point out those points of difference. And I think language has so much power. So because if you say, oh, this is our color area here, like think of like how could you transform that word and make it luxury too? Like this is our color lab where we're excited to make your color dreams come true. This is our relaxation room, our treatment room, whatever you want to call it there, instead of, hey, this is our shampoo area, come check it out. Like if you're really starting to or want to create that luxurious touch, to make sure that your words are matching that experience for them. Because already in their head, just by saying relaxation room, they probably picture themselves kind of sitting back there in a relaxation state, thinking, oh man, this is nice. And then you can point out little points of difference for them too, like, oh, this is our relaxation room where you'll get to enjoy a hand massage or a hot towel or a eye mask, whatever it may be for you. So I think that really helps them to start painting that picture of what the experience is going to be like, and it really helps to raise their excitement.
Man, that makes me wanna get a nice little hot towel scalp massage right now. So I think that's wonderful, and then also just thinking about, human needs, I think is a great thing to kinda touch on too, like, and, while you're with us today, here's where the restrooms are located. We've got drinks, that will be, they depending upon the welcome email and stuff that you send out, you might already know what their drink of choice is, but just letting them know, like, we've got some offerings for you of drinks. And then we also, if there's any at all that we can help make your visit with us, more enjoyable, we've got a basket of, random medications, personal care items, chargers, anything you might need during our visit. If you think of anything, we're here to help assist you in that. So just letting them know about some of those things, we used to always joke around in the salon and say, "Oh, I would totally cringe if somebody asked where the bathroom was because I knew that they didn't get a tour." And, one time we were joking around about that, and then I gave somebody a salon tour and showed them where the bathroom was, and literally as we were walking back up, they said, "And where's the bathroom?" And so my team was like, "That was so great," because I was like, "Well, it's not gonna make me cringy anymore," but because I told them, but there's just a lot of information to get out, and but they felt so comfortable, and really, all joking aside about that, it's just, letting people know, like, "Hey, I want you to feel at home in this space. I want you to, if you have questions, feel free to ask," all of that good stuff. Just creating that welcoming, environment for them is key.
Yeah. All right. So let's move to step four, which is going to be about creating offering opportunities and a guest portfolio. So by this point, you've kind of walked them through the space. You could always, do a touch point of like, hey, just so you know, be sure to ask your stylist about really giving you a brow makeover. You have beautiful eyes. I know it could highlight your eyes in a more beautiful way, or just in a beautiful way, not more beautiful way.
Mhm.
So pointing out things like that. One thing you could always do is visuals are really nice. So like if you have like a scalp treatment or something like that that you're showcasing, like to have pictures of some under a microscope, man, that will sell some scalp serums faster than anything else. And like, just be sure that you take part of our complimentary scalp analysis today. Just pointing little things out like that they're probably unaware of just helps them to start feeling that value. And then the other part of that too is you want to make sure that you give them a guest portfolio. We call it a portfolio because it's really a portfolio of what their wants and desires are, but also like what's most important to them. And so in that guest portfolio, we're going to go over face shape, we're going to go over skin tone, we're going to go over eye color, we're going to go over like what's the most important thing to do during their visit, what are their biggest hair challenges, what are they looking for today. So like if you'd like a copy of a sample of a guest portfolio, just send us a email at hello@salonbusinessschool.com, and we'll send that over to you as a gift just so you can plug and play and create your own. But like that guest portfolio, again, it starts to build that trust with the client, because it's very, very rare in a hair salon that you go in and most of the time they sit in the chair and it's like, okay, hey, Lindsay, what do you want to do today? So to already have that guest portfolio and already be able to learn a little bit about the client before you even see the client in your chair, I think is super helpful.
Yes, I love that. And, it really adds so much value to that guest experience. And in today's world where, you know, we're in the information age, and there's so much random information at people's fingertips. When they are able to get it from you, you are the expert in their eyes, and the value that they're receiving, they would give you way more money than you would even ask
Mhm.
them for, just to stay in exchange with each other, and so I, I would say all of these things are amazing to implement. And you might even be thinking, well, gosh, I don't even have anybody on my hospitality team yet. And that's okay. I would say if anybody can peel away to welcome in a new guest, that's going to be key. Even if one of the service providers can just give a welcome tour before they get started with the appointment, that would be amazing. But you could also send a welcome text beforehand, to kind of go over some different things with the guests. Whether you do have a hospitality team or not, we like to send a welcome email and text to people. It's a welcome text that they can click on a link to read a message, and then include a message from the owner, and just thank them, because people do have a million choices of where they go, and they chose your salon. And so there's power in putting connection to a locally owned business, and thanking people for making that choice, and already starting to help lower their resistance before they even come in, because so many people think, well, where am I going to park, where am I going to, what should I wear, where am I going to walk in? All of these different questions. If you can answer those in a welcome email, or message, text message, before they even come in, they already start to feel more comfortable and at home with you.
Yeah. And so something else to think about too is if you're like, okay, this is great, Jen and Lindsay, but like, how do I get my team on board? And remember, just anytime you try something new, it just takes practice. It takes repetition. So, like using it at salon celebrations to role play, let it be part of your onboarding experience. Maybe you have a branded language. We do a branded language game where, if you've ever seen Family Feud style, like we do little buzzers, it's fun. And then we have like say this instead of that. And so we just really kind of build that language into their mindset. And then we play a little game like, okay, say this instead of that. And if someone knows the answer, they'll buzz their little buzzer, and just for fun. And so, like, just really the more fun that you can make it, and letting people see that, hey, these little luxurious touches really help to elevate all aspects of our building, all aspects of our business, including your take home pay. Then I think it just takes consistency. Consistency is that key, in communication. When you think you've communicated, communicate it again, because it takes someone at least probably 7 or 8 times before they truly pick it up. So this is not something you set and forget. Like, you're not going to say it just at one salon celebration and then never say it again. So it's going to take a lot of repetition to get this into place.
Love it. So, just to recap, the 4 steps that we covered today were: create that signature greeting. Next, you're going to want to create connection with the guest. The third step is pointing out those points of difference and what's in it for them, what's in it for the guest. And the fourth is creating that offering and guest portfolio. And when you knock out those 4 steps, you will be wowing everyone every time they visit your salon company. They are going to let other people know, hey, you've got to go check out XYZ salon down the street. I just learned more about myself and my hair, and, met several amazing people there, and they just treated me amazing. And it won't even matter how much you charge, when your intentions are in that place and you're serving to that degree. You're going to really attract some amazing people and really stand out in the sea of salons.
Awesome. We'll catch you next week. Have a beautiful day.